For centuries, a handful of families have quietly kept their fortunes, living by a strict, unspoken code that sets them apart from the world of flashy consumption. You've heard the saying, new money shouts, but old money whispers. So, what are they whispering about? What are the discreet, powerful rules that have let them hold on to their wealth and influence for generations? In a world obsessed with big displays, instant gratification, and public approval, there's a parallel universe of wealth that runs on silence, legacy, and being practically invisible. This is the world of old money. It's a world where fortunes aren't just made, they're managed, protected, and passed down through dynasties. Names like Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, and Astor became legendary not just for the cash they stacked, but for the systems they built to make it last. They understood a basic truth that often escapes the newly rich. Real power doesn't need to shout. It's a quiet confidence, a mindset that values continuity over currency and reputation over recognition. While new money might buy a Lamborghini to prove they've arrived, old money is happy with a 10-year-old Volvo, knowing the real wealth is growing in an investment portfolio, not losing value in the driveway. Today, we're decoding their 12 most powerful silent rules. This isn't just about etiquette or how to dress. We're getting into the psychology, strategy, and philosophy that has kept the world's most enduring financial dynasties afloat. These are timeless strategies that once you get them, you can start using in your own life, no matter the number in your bank account. Because you're about to find out, old money isn't an amount, it's an approach, it's a mindset, and it's a discipline. So let's pull back the curtain and explore the silent rules that run the world of generational wealth. Rule 1. Do not talk about money publicly. The first and most important rule of the old money world is probably the one they protect the most. You just don't talk about money. Not how much you have, not how much you make, and definitely not how much things cost. In old money circles, talking about finances is seen as tacky and vulgar. It's a social taboo so deep that it works like a silent alarm, instantly separating those who get it from those who don't. This isn't about being secretive just for the sake of it. It's a smart strategy for self-preservation. First, talking about money invites comparison, jealousy, and judgment. Old money families know that public knowledge of their wealth makes them a target for silly lawsuits, for gold diggers, and for all kinds of unwanted attention. Being discreet is being safe. It protects the family from social climbers and insincere relationships, and it preserves their privacy, which they consider the ultimate luxury. Second, this silence comes from a cultural belief that your actions should show your wealth, not your words. Your education, your manners, your quiet confidence, and what you give back to society should speak for you. To talk about your net worth is to admit you're insecure, that you need someone else to tell you you're important, which is the exact opposite of the old money mindset. New money often uses price tags as a way to make conversation. This watch cost 10 grand, or we just bought a multi-million-dollar vacation home. To old money, this screams that you're still impressed by your own money, and therefore not used to it. An old money person would never say a painting cost $2 million. They'd say it's hung in their family's hallway for 3 generations. The value is in the history, not the price tag. This rule goes beyond just small talk. It shapes how they deal with the world. They don't brag about stock market wins, complain about taxes, or discuss inheritances. Those topics are for the privacy of their family office or their trusted financial advisors. The goal is to make wealth so normal that it becomes a quiet fact of life, like the air they breathe, not something to be performed for an audience. So what's the lesson? Let your actions, your knowledge, and your character define your value. Wealth that has to be announced isn't really wealth, it's just noise. True financial confidence is silent because you're so secure you have nothing to prove. Rule 2. Avoid flashy displays of wealth. In a world drowning in influencer culture and logos, the second silent rule of old money feels almost rebellious. Avoid all flashy displays of wealth. This is the heart of stealth wealth, a philosophy where the aim isn't to look rich, but to be rich. This rule isn't about being cheap, it's about being discreet. It's the difference between quiet luxury and loud, look-at-me consumption. Old money families don't drive the newest, brightest supercars. You're more likely to see them in a well-kept but older luxury sedan, a practical SUV, or even a beat-up station wagon. They value reliability and function over flash. A car is a tool to get you from A to B, not a billboard for your bank account. They know a flashy new car is a depreciating asset, and the money they save by driving something more understated can be invested to grow for generations. That $50,000 difference between a practical car and a flashy one, they see it as hundreds of thousands of dollars in future wealth, not losing value in the driveway. This thinking applies everywhere, especially fashion. Old money avoids obvious branding. You won't see them covered in Gucci G's or Louis Vuitton monograms. Instead, they invest in quality, craftsmanship, and timeless style. Their clothing is beautifully tailored and made from high-quality fabrics like cashmere and wool, but it almost never has a visible logo. The luxury is in the feel and the fit, not the brand name. This is quiet luxury, a style that signals wealth to those who know through its quality and understatement while looking anonymous to most people. A perfectly tailored blazer, a watch passed down through generations, or a pair of well-loved leather loafers are the real status symbols here. Avoiding flash is also a strategic move. It protects their privacy and security, making them less of a target. And it reflects a core value. Your worth is internal, not external. They don't need a designer logo to feel good about themselves. Their confidence comes from their education and their family's legacy. New money often uses brands to signal they've made it. Old money knows you can't buy class. It's something you build over generations. For anyone wanting to use this rule, the key is to focus on quality over quantity. Invest in timeless, well-made things that will last instead of chasing trends. Choose subtlety over spectacle. The biggest flex isn't showing off how much money you have, but having so much you don't feel the need to. Rule 3. Stay away from social media and public self-promotion. In an age where your online persona can feel more important than your real one, the third rule of old money is a deliberate step in the other direction. Keep a nearly invisible public profile, especially on social media. For them, privacy is the ultimate prize, and being discreet is the highest form of power. They guard it with everything they have, because they know that what isn't seen can't be judged, envied, or attacked. You'll rarely find a member of a big old money family posting their life on a public Instagram. They don't aspire to be influencers or build personal brands. Their influence is in the real world, built through networks and quiet contributions, not likes and followers. This dislike for social media comes from a deep belief that self-promotion is tacky and that family life should be private. Sharing personal details with the world is seen as a sign of needing approval from strangers, a bizarre concept in their self-contained world. Of course, there are exceptions, and some younger members may have discreet private accounts, but the rule of thumb is to remain under the radar. It's all about control. Old money understands that once you put something online, you lose control of the story. A photo can be twisted, a comment taken out of context, and a location tag can risk your security. They prefer to keep their homes, their parties, and their children out of the public eye. The social rule in their circles is absolute. You don't post photos from a private event, you don't tag your host's home, and you don't broadcast private conversations. Doing so is a fast track to not being invited again. This is a huge contrast to new money, which might use social media to document their new lifestyle, looking for that very public approval that old money avoids. For them, a lavish life is an achievement to be broadcast. For old money, it's a private reality to be protected. The lesson for any of us is to be more thoughtful about what we share. Before you post, ask yourself, why am I posting this? Is it for validation, or does it serve a real purpose? Protecting your private life isn't about being antisocial. It's about realizing your life isn't a performance. True confidence doesn't need an audience. In a world full of noise, silence makes a statement. Rule 4. Dress appropriately and practically. While old money avoids flashy fashion, their take on clothing is much deeper than just ditching logos. The fourth rule is to dress with a sharp sense of what's appropriate and practical, putting fit, function, and the occasion above any trend. For them, dressing well isn't about standing out. It's about fitting in perfectly. It's a quiet display of social intelligence. This rule shows up in a deep respect for dress codes, both spoken and unspoken. Whether it's a weekend in the country, a formal charity event, or a meeting at a private club, there's an expected way to dress, and following it is a sign of respect for the host and the tradition. You wear boots that can handle mud for a country walk, a well-tailored suit for business, and black tie for a formal night. This isn't about conforming for no reason. It's about showing you have social awareness. The person who shows up to a rustic weekend in stilettos or to a formal dinner in jeans instantly signals they just don't get it. Practicality is the other key to this rule. Clothing is an investment, chosen for how long it will last and how useful it is. They lean towards natural, durable fabrics: wool, tweed, cashmere, and cotton. Their wardrobes are built on timeless, versatile pieces: the perfect navy blazer, a classic trench coat, a well-made pair of leather shoes. These are items built to last for decades, not just a season, and they often get better with age. A worn-in Barber jacket or a string of heirloom pearls has more status than the latest it bag because they tell a story of quality and continuity. This focus on practicality also means dressing for comfort. Old money style is never tight or fussy. It's about an effortless elegance that lets you move and relax. The confidence comes from feeling comfortable in your own skin and in your clothes. They are not victims of fashion. They are fans of timeless style. They know that a perfectly tailored jacket from 10 years ago will always look better than a trendy, ill-fitting piece that's hot off the runway. The lesson here is to build your wardrobe with purpose. Instead of chasing fast fashion, invest in high-quality, classic pieces you can wear for years. Pay attention to tailoring. A well-fitting garment, even a cheap one, will always look more luxurious than a sloppy, expensive one. And finally, always think about the occasion. Dressing appropriately is a quiet sign of respect that says more than words ever could. Rule 5. Think in generations, not seasons. The fifth rule is a massive shift in perspective that sits at the very core of old money strategy. Think in generations, not quarters or seasons. While the modern world is obsessed with short-term gains, quarterly earnings, and passing trends, old money families are playing a game that spans centuries. Their main goal isn't to get rich, but to stay rich, making sure the family's prosperity and legacy last for generations to come. This long-term mindset shapes every big decision, especially about money. They aren't day traders chasing quick profits in risky markets. They're patient, disciplined investors. They build portfolios of stable, appreciating assets, blue-chip stocks, real estate in prime locations, and sometimes even farmland or natural resources. The Rockefeller family famously grew their fortune by diversifying out of oil and into a huge range of industries over many decades. The investment question is never, how much can I make this year? But will this asset still be valuable and providing for my great-grandchildren? This generational thinking is locked in through complex legal and financial structures made to protect wealth from being wasted by being. Dynasty trusts are a popular tool, letting assets pass through multiple generations while being protected from estate taxes, divorces, and the bad decisions of one reckless heir. Many families set up a family office, a private company, just for managing the family's wealth, investments, legal issues, and charity work. This turns stewarding the family fortune into a professional operation, making sure decisions are based on logic and a long-term vision, not emotion. This mindset isn't just about money. It's about seeing themselves as caretakers of wealth, not owners. The houses, the art, the businesses, these aren't personal trophies to be sold whenever they feel like it. They're a part of a legacy to be maintained, improved, and passed on. This gives heirs a deep sense of responsibility from a young age. They're taught that they're one link in a long chain, and their job is to make sure that chain doesn't break. The lesson for us is to start thinking with a longer timeline in our own financial lives. Think about your retirement account, not as a number for today, but as a resource for your future self. Make decisions that will benefit you in 10, 20, or even 30 years. Shifting your focus from short-term wants to long-term stability is one of the most powerful moves you can borrow from the old money playbook. Rule 6. Practice quiet philanthropy. For old money families, giving back isn't a trend or a PR move. It's a basic, deeply held duty. The sixth silent rule is to practice philanthropy quietly and consistently without needing a round of applause. This is a far cry from the modern philanthrocapitalism, where big donations often come with press releases and buildings named after the donor. Old money gives back not to be seen, but to serve. This tradition of quiet giving comes from a sense of noblesse oblige, the belief that with wealth and privilege comes a duty to make society better. While self-made men like Andrew Carnegie championed this idea with his Gospel of Wealth, the old money approach is often more discreet. Their names might not be on the front of the museum, but they're likely on the board, quietly guiding its future and keeping it financially healthy. They create private foundations that let them support causes they care about, often education, the arts, or conservation, for generations. The focus is on making a difference, not getting credit. They prefer to work behind the scenes, using their connections to support institutions they believe in. This discretion is smart for two reasons. First, it fits with their core value of avoiding the spotlight. A big public donation brings the kind of attention they hate. And second, it keeps their motives pure. They're giving because they believe in the cause, not because they want the social points that come with being seen as generous. While some families do engage in public-facing philanthropy, the underlying culture often values humility. Fulfilling their duty is just what's expected, not something that needs a parade. There's also a strategic side to their giving. Philanthropy is often a way to teach family values to the next generation. Getting kids and grandkids involved in the family foundation teaches them about responsibility, the world outside their bubble, and how to be good stewards. It's a training ground for future family leaders. The advice here is to find a way to give back that means something to you without needing a pat on the back. Whether it's volunteering, donating to a local cause, or mentoring someone, the goal is to contribute. Real generosity is measured by the impact it has, not by the applause it gets. Rule 7. Maintain emotional restraint and social decorum. The seventh silent rule is all about managing your most personal asset, your own behavior. Old money families put a huge value on emotional restraint, social grace, and staying cool under pressure. In their world, public displays of extreme emotion, whether it's loud laughter, angry outbursts, or dramatic fits of distress, are seen as a sign of instability and a lack of self-control. Grace under pressure is the ultimate mark of a solid character. This emotional discipline starts at a young age. Kids are taught to handle disappointment with quiet resilience, to disagree with polite debate instead of yelling, and to navigate social events with a calm presence. This isn't about being cold or robotic. It's about mastering your emotions so they don't master you. They understand that a calm exterior projects authority and trustworthiness. People who are easily rattled or love drama are seen as unpredictable, and you can't trust them with anything important. You can really see this rule in their social interactions. They're masters of conversation, able to talk intelligently about a lot of topics without ever hogging the spotlight. They listen more than they speak. They stay away from gossip and controversial topics that could cause drama. Their humor is witty and subtle, not loud and attention-seeking. There's a certain effortlessness to how they move and speak, no nervous fidgeting or rushed words, that shows a deep sense of security. It's the body language of someone who is completely comfortable and feels no need to perform for approval. This stoicism is also a protective shield. When you live a life that's partly in the public eye, keeping a calm and unreadable expression stops others from knowing your weaknesses or taking advantage of you. It lets them handle business deals, family crises, and social challenges with a clear head, making decisions based on logic, not feelings. The lesson for anyone looking to adopt this is to practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Before you react, take a breath. Aim for grace and composure even when you're stressed. A calm demeanor not only earns you respect, but also gives you the mental clarity to handle whatever life throws at you. In a world that often rewards outrage, quiet composure is a rare and powerful strength. We're halfway through the silent rules that have kept fortunes intact for centuries. If you're fascinated by the psychology behind generational wealth and want more on quiet luxury and timeless strategies for success, take a second to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss our next look into this exclusive world. Now, let's get back to the rules. Rule 8. Curate social circles with kindness and boundaries. The 8th rule is one of the most subtle but crucial for protecting not just wealth, but also your well-being and reputation. Old money families are experts at building their social circles with a delicate mix of kindness and firm boundaries. They know that the people you surround yourself with will shape your life, your values, and your security. Their networks are their most valuable asset, and they protect them fiercely. This isn't about being a snob, it's about being intentional. They build deep, loyal friendships, often with people they've known forever, from boarding school, university, or through family connections. These relationships are built on mutual trust, shared values, and a silent understanding, not on what you can do for me. They value reliability and discretion above all else. A friend in these circles is someone you can count on to be supportive, respectful, and most importantly, private. Kindness and good manners are shown to everyone, no matter their social status. This is a key difference. Old money etiquette says you treat the server with the same respect as the host of the party. Being arrogant or rude to anyone is a sign of bad character and a huge social mistake. However, this universal politeness comes with strong boundaries. They are great at being friendly and engaging without getting too personal. They don't overshare, they avoid getting tangled in other people's drama, and they are skilled at politely dodging nosy questions. These boundaries are a vital defense. They protect the family from people who might want to exploit their wealth or status. They know how to keep people at a comfortable distance, observing them and taking the time to build trust before letting them into their inner circle. New money, in its rush to network and be accepted, can sometimes be too open and too trusting, leaving them open to opportunists. Old money has a trust but verify approach that's been perfected over generations. The advice for anyone is to be more deliberate about your own relationships. Surround yourself with people who are loyal, trustworthy, and support your long-term goals. Be kind and respectful to everyone, but learn to maintain healthy boundaries that protect your peace and your reputation. Your social circle is your personal board of directors. Choose its members wisely. Rule 9. Value education and financial literacy above all else. In the world of old money, the 9th rule is the belief that the greatest inheritance isn't money, but education. They see knowledge, both academic and financial, as the real foundation of lasting wealth. A fortune can be lost in one generation by a fool, but a well-educated mind, trained in critical thinking and financial management, can protect and grow wealth for centuries. This commitment to education starts with the best formal schooling money can buy. Kids are often sent to elite boarding schools and top universities like the Ivy Leagues or Oxbridge. But the point isn't just to get a high-paying job. Many of them will never need to work in the traditional sense. It's about getting a global perspective, building an incredible social network, and developing the sharp intellect needed to manage a complex financial empire. They study history, arts, and literature not just for fun, but because it teaches them how to think critically, understand people, and see patterns, all essential skills for a life of leadership. Even more important is the financial education that starts young. Old money kids aren't just handed a trust fund on their 18th birthday. They are slowly and deliberately taught to manage money. They might get a small allowance and be expected to budget, or be given a small stock portfolio to manage with an advisor. The goal is to teach them the value of money, the principles of investing, and the discipline of living within their means. Heirs often get their inheritance through controlled structures, like trusts that release funds slowly to prevent them from blowing it all. This forces them to learn responsibility and prove they can handle it before they get full control. The family itself acts as a school. Family meetings aren't just for reviewing spreadsheets. They're for passing down the family's values, history, and strategic vision. Younger generations learn from the wisdom and mistakes of their elders. This multi-generational transfer of knowledge is the secret sauce that keeps the fortune going. The advice for everyone is to prioritize your own education and financial literacy. Read, take courses, and learn as much as you can about personal finance and investing. Treat your knowledge as your most valuable asset. Then pass that knowledge on to your own kids. A big bank account can be emptied, but a sharp, financially savvy mind is a source of wealth that will last a lifetime.
Rule 10. Avoid chasing trends. The 10th silent rule is a quiet protest against modern consumer culture. Don't chase trends. This applies to everything, from fashion and home decor to, most importantly, investments. Old money families have a deep-seated immunity to the next big thing. They value timelessness, consistency, and proven quality over novelty and hype. In their lifestyle, this means they aren't swayed by seasonal styles. Their homes are furnished with classic, well-made furniture, often inherited, that is comfortable and elegant, not designed to match the latest magazine cover. Their closets are filled with enduring pieces that look just as good today as they did 20 years ago, and will still look good in 20 years. This resistance to trends isn't just a style choice, it's a financial one. Chasing trends is expensive and wasteful. It leads to a cycle of constant buying and throwing away. Old money prefers to buy once and buy well, investing in quality that lasts. This principle is most powerful in their investment philosophy. They are famously skeptical of get-rich-quick schemes and trendy investment bubbles. While new money might jump on a hot crypto coin or a risky tech stock hoping for a quick win, old money sticks to boring, proven strategies. They invest in diversified portfolios of assets they understand, focusing on long-term, sustainable growth. Their approach is slow and steady, with the #1 priority being to preserve their capital. They understand the power of compound interest and know that real wealth is built over decades, not overnight. Their patience is their greatest financial superpower. This mindset also gives them a powerful psychological anchor. By not being swayed by the latest fads, they're protected from the social pressure and anxiety that drives so much of modern life. They have a strong internal sense of taste and value, so they don't need to look to trends for validation. Their confidence comes from their own judgment, which has been passed down through generations. To apply this rule, develop a healthy skepticism toward hype. Before you buy something, whether it's clothes, a new gadget, or an investment, ask yourself, will I still value this in 5 or 10 years? Or am I just caught up in the moment? By choosing the timeless over the trendy, you'll not only save money, but also build a more stable, elegant, and confident way of life. Rule 11. Do not seek external validation. The 11th silent rule gets to the very core of the old money mindset. Their sense of self-worth comes from within, from their heritage, their upbringing, and their character, not from external validation. They feel no need to prove their worth, their intelligence, or their status to anyone. This quiet self-assurance is maybe the most defining and most enviable trait of the generationally wealthy. This internal validation is why they can follow all the other rules so easily. They don't need flashy cars or designer logos because their confidence isn't attached to things. They don't need to post their lives on social media because they don't crave likes from strangers. They don't need to talk about their wealth because they're secure enough that it doesn't need to be discussed. Their identity isn't built on what others think of them, but on who they know they are, a product of a long, successful family line and a caretaker for its future. This mindset starts at birth. They are raised in a world of stability and certainty, surrounded by the achievements of their ancestors. Their world is one of private clubs, legacy schools, and tight-knit social circles, where everyone's position is already understood. There's no need to perform or impress. In fact, trying too hard is seen as a sign of insecurity, the mark of an outsider. The ultimate luxury in their world is the freedom to not care what other people think. This also gives them a powerful sense of independence. They are free to pursue their own interests, whether it's art history, horse riding, or philanthropy, without worrying if it's prestigious or profitable. They make decisions based on their own values, not public opinion. This self-reliance is a form of psychological wealth that's arguably more valuable than their financial assets. It gives them a sense of peace that those constantly chasing approval can never find. The lesson for us is to build our own sense of self-worth from within. Anchor your identity in your character, your integrity, and your passions. Stop comparing yourself to others, especially online. When you stop looking for validation from the outside world, you reclaim your power and find a deeper, more real kind of confidence. Rule 12. Marriage and relationships are strategic. The final silent rule is maybe the most controversial in the modern world. For old money families, marriage and long-term relationships are often strategic alliances. This isn't to say that love is missing, but that love is considered alongside other practical factors like family background, education, and shared values. The main goal is always to preserve the family's legacy, wealth, and social standing. In these circles, who you marry is one of the biggest financial and social decisions you will ever make. A bad marriage to someone with different financial values, someone who is indiscreet, or someone whose family is a source of scandal can threaten to destroy generations of careful work. A divorce can be financially catastrophic, and a mismatch in values can create endless drama and damage the family reputation. So the process of choosing a partner often involves a level of screening that might seem cold to an outsider. Parents and the extended family often play a quiet but significant role here. Young heirs are introduced to a curated group of suitable partners from similar families. They grow up in the same environments, attending the same schools, summering at the same resorts, and joining the same exclusive clubs. This naturally limits their romantic options to a pre-approved group of peers who already understand the unspoken rules and share a similar worldview. This makes it much more likely that their values and lifestyles will line up. The unspoken questions are always there. Does this person understand the responsibility that comes with our name? Do their family's values align with ours? Are they financially responsible and discreet? This strategic approach is seen as a practical way to protect the family and ensure it continues. It's the ultimate expression of thinking in generations. They're not just choosing a spouse for themselves, they're choosing a co-manager for the family's future and a parent for the next generation. While our culture prioritizes romantic passion above all else, the old money way suggests that lasting marriages are built on a more stable foundation of shared principles, mutual respect, and a commitment to a common legacy. The lesson, without the elitism, is a practical one. When choosing a life partner, look beyond the initial spark and consider your long-term compatibility and values, financial habits, and life goals. A successful partnership is a cornerstone of a stable and happy life. So, there you have it. The 12 silent rules that have steered the world of old money for centuries. From the quiet refusal to talk about money to the strategic planning of one's life, these principles show a world that operates on a completely different frequency. It's a world that values discretion over display, legacy over luxury, and continuity over consumption. What becomes clear is that old money is so much more than a number in a bank account. It's a disciplined philosophy of life. It's about playing the long game, building a life of such quiet stability and substance that you never feel the need to prove anything to anyone. These rules are basically strategies for managing risk, protecting not just money, but reputation, privacy, and family harmony. While the world of dynastic wealth might seem a million miles away, the principles themselves are surprisingly down to earth. You don't need a trust fund to be discreet, to invest for the long term, to value education, or to choose quality over trends. You can decide today to stop looking for validation on social media and to build a sense of worth that comes from within. You can choose to live with an understated elegance and to build a life based on your values, not society's fleeting whims. In a world that gets louder, faster, and more superficial every day, maybe the greatest lesson from old money is the power of quiet confidence. It's the art of building a life so rich in meaning, purpose, and security that you have nothing left to prove. And that, in itself, is the ultimate luxury. Thanks for joining us on this look into the silent world of old money. If you found this insightful, let us know in the comments which rule hit home for you the most. And don't forget to subscribe for more explorations into the strategies and mindsets that shape our world. We'll see you in the next one.